Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this video, I'll be aiming to give advice to parents of students of Hifth. So Hifth is the memorization of the Holy Quran, and this advice is specifically to the parents of those students. So I've made a separate video which directly advises the student of Hifth, and that's for over the age of 16. Because I think over the age of 16, the kid or the child or the teenager should have or the adult should have the zeal and enthusiasm from themselves. But under the age of 16, the parents play a key role and a major part of the child's success. So anything from, of course, birth to the age of 16, I would say, in relation to Hifth, and generally in life as well, of course, but in relation to Hifth we're coming from, the parents' efforts, motivation, encouragement, discipline, it plays a massive part in whether the child is successful or not. Now, I'm coming from three angles of experience. The first is the fact that I wouldn't have achieved anything I've achieved in terms of Quran or generally anything without the efforts and the push from my parents and their sacrifices as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from them and make it a means and make my rewards a means of success for them in this life and the hereafter. Ameen. And for my ancestors and family, siblings, progeny, and for you too as well. So that's one thing that we need to be clear about. My success in terms of the Quran and Hifth is down to my parents, and I'll give some more explanation there shortly. The other two angles is the fact that I have taught many children, many students of Hifth under the age of 16 for many years as well. So I've interacted with all types of parents, and I've been in all different situations, and obviously each kid is different, right? Every single kid is unique. So I've dealt with these sorts of situations as well. I've got many years of experience there. And the third angle is the fact that I'm a father of two young daughters, alhamdulillah, and I'm in the position where I really need to, start making efforts myself. And I know it's not easy, and I know it's difficult, and I know life gets in the way. And we're busy, we're doing so many different things, so many responsibilities. I know exactly how it is, and to be honest, I'm struggling at the moment in terms of giving my daughters the time for them to, slowly start building up. So one is 5, the other is 2. Obviously the 2-year-old she's just about started to talk. So it's the 5-year-old that I'm sort of starting to stress myself about, but nothing to stress about, We take life day by day, and inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept our intentions and make something happen through our intentions. Now, I know you're not watching this to hear me talk about my parents' efforts, but it's just to bring some sort of context, Like, if you think about it, as a child, there's no reason, or there's no logical reason why the child would one day just start saying, I want to become hifz, I want to start memorizing the Quran, okay? Rather, the child, they want to play, they want to enjoy their youth, which is completely fine, and I'll come to that. But there has to be some sort of external influence or push or motivation or introduction to the field of Quran and to memorizing the Quran. So that's where the parents come in play. They have to introduce the memorization of the Holy Quran and gentle pushes towards this path. And that's what I'm saying. My parents, they introduced me from a young age to the memorization of the Holy Quran. And they used to take out a lot of time and make efforts sitting with me and my sisters as well to read the Quran, to learn, to make sure I spend time learning, memorizing. And then as I grew older, entering competitions, my father, he used to listen to many ajza a day. Sometimes he used to listen to 5-6 juz a day, so which is a long time. And of course he's busy as well. And my mother as well, she's the one that originally sort of pushed us in this direction, and then my father took out some time as well to listen to our Hifth. And of course my father's Hafiz, so not all parents are hafidh, you know, but everyone can do their bit. So my parents did make effort, and without them I wouldn't have won these competitions or come this far with the Quran. The initial introduction, the initial push in the correct direction. So that's the first angle. And then the second angle is the fact that one must remember that you send your kid to madrasa, you send your kid to hifth class. Okay, now it doesn't mean that you've sent them, you've done your bit. Not at all. It does not work like that. Rather the opposite, which is that's just the first thing you've done. And after that your real effort starts. Yes, I'm talking to you as the parent. Your effort starts, and it's not easy. Okay, the teacher, the child and the parent is a three-party relationship. There's three parties involved, and the main party, the key element of the three-party is the parents, okay? Not the teacher, not the child. Okay, why? Because the teacher, his or her job is simply for the child to come and read to them, and they take out the tajweed mistakes, for example, the hifz mistakes. They're not with the child 24/7. They're with the child probably 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's nothing. Okay, they're just there, and there's so many other students as well. You can't expect the teacher to sort of nurture your child. Okay, and the child, as we mentioned, the child is innocent. The child wants to play, you know, either play on the phone, PlayStation, play outside, go football, do this, do that, you know, and you can't blame the kid for that. Like, that's the natural nature of kids. And my teacher used to always say that the kid will always try to get away with things. Okay, even in madrasa, they'll try to, like, you know, they'll try to get away with things. Even at home, they'll in sly ways they'll try to, like, not, for example, read the Quran or not memorize for the day or make some excuses to do some good work, and they don't understand. But you can't blame them, because us as adults, now just think about it, us as adults, if we had the opportunity to get away with something we don't like doing, we would take the opportunity any day of the week. Like if you're at work, for example, and you can get a shortcut, or you can get away with not doing something, I'm pretty sure you'd take the opportunity. So same as a child. So you can't expect, like, we as adults, we'd still do the same. How can you expect a child to be, like, on point and disciplined and the rest of it? It doesn't work like that. So that's the second point, which is it's a three-party relationship, and the teacher is one part, but by far not the main part. The main element is the parent, and I hope I'm not putting too much pressure on you, but we'll come to the next point as well, which is the fact that I know it's difficult. Okay, so and that is the third point, which is so we haven't got to the advice yet. The advice is coming. This is just some sort of introduction. If it's too long, then just skip to the advice bit. I'll sort of tag it on YouTube. The third element is the fact that it's not easy. Okay, me as a parent of two young daughters, I had so many aspirations. I said, like, when by the age of 3 they'll have done this and she'll have done that, and I'll do this, and I'm going to give 1 hour every day to her. But it's very difficult to actually, you know, put that into practice, because life gets in the way, responsibilities, shaitan's mind games, mental health, you know, illnesses, other family distractions. There's so much that goes on during the day that the time is not there to give. But that's where we have to make an active effort. Like, we need to actually devise a plan and say, and make a firm intention, you know, and as I say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then make the intention into action and into reality as well. So it's very important that we take the time out for our kids, because ultimately, as I say, our efforts is a direct reflection on their success. Okay, if we don't make the effort, then it's difficult to expect them to just, you know, achieve the title of hafidh or hafidha. And as I say, again, it's not easy, but we just have to, you know, spend some time, and inshallah Allah will accept for us. We'll end up wearing the crowns, on the Day of Judgment. All the child's rewards will come to us, and then our parents, these are easy rewards. Like, sometimes you try to like give sadaqah, or you try to like do all these massive sophisticated deeds, but one of the easiest deeds right in front of you is your child. Sadaqah jariyah, the parent that leaves behind a pious child that prays for him or her, is sadaqatul jariyah. So it's right in front of you, and that's how we have to like train our minds and say, I'm making all this effort here. Like for me, I'm making this video now to hopefully benefit parents around the world. But do I spend the same time with my daughter, who will become a means of sadaqatul jariyah for me? I need to keep these things in mind. So it's about priorities, it's about context as well. So that's the thing. I would say, so the first piece of advice is to be very aware of what the child is doing. Now, social media, mobile phones, tablets, devices, laptop, computer, PlayStation games, does not directly go with the title of, or attaining such a miracle, which is memorizing 848 pages of the Asian Mus'haf. It's a massive achievement, okay? But to achieve this massive success, you have to have discipline. And social media and the tablets and the devices that I've mentioned, they don't go hand in hand, especially for young kids. Especially for young kids. For example, these devices, these apps, they've been designed in a way to reduce focus and concentration, to constantly keep the mind activated, like flashing lights, different topic, like you scroll, you see something different, and then PlayStation games, you just like, there's so much action going on. So how does one expect a child to then sit and read the same book and the same page multiple times, which is what needs to be done to memorize? Okay, how can you expect a child to focus on one page? Their mind is not used to that. Their mind is accustomed to flashing lights and so many different colors and so much action in front of them. So there has to be control over these devices. Okay, now I don't want to be too extreme because I know how it is, and I'm not going to say they shouldn't have these devices at all. I think social media, no child under the age of 16 should have social media, to be honest, like Instagram, TikTok, this sort of thing. I think social media is too much. Personally, under the age of 16 is too much. You might disagree with me, that's completely fine. At least the age of 14, year 9. You have kids under the age of 10 that are all over these apps, on the tablets, on the parents' mobile phones all day long. And then you see a correlation. As I say, I used to teach, and the kids that are very, very weak, the first question I ask the parents is, what do they do during the day? Do they go on devices? Yes, for sure. And to be honest, it's like a rhetorical question. I know that they do, because it's just obvious. They got no focus, no concentration. They find it boring. They actually find it boring to sit and read the Quran. So it's important to keep the kids away from these devices, social media, and to have control, because you have to think about it. These kids, they have innocent minds. Their mind is like sponge. It just soaks everything in, completely innocent. What you feed them is what they'll accept. Okay, so there has to be some serious discipline when it comes to these devices. Say half an hour a day or 1 hour a day max. I know, look, I'm not trying to be like extreme. I know how it is with kids, and like sometimes to get them off your back, or just to have some sort of time out, you just need to put them in front of the TV or in front of the tablet or something. But you can't just leave them on it and not make any effort. Okay, it might sound harsh, but this is the truth. If you want your kid to achieve the title of Hafidh or Hafidha, discipline has to be exerted when it comes to devices, tablets, TV, PlayStation, and social media, for sure, 100%. As I told you, the kids that are completely active on devices, you can't expect them to be focused, and then you can't tell them off because you didn't discipline them. You have to discipline them. As I told you, it goes back to my first point, which is, if we sit on devices all day ourselves, and if we can get away with not doing work and scrolling on Instagram, for example, we do that. So don't expect the kid don't expect too much from the kid. Okay, it's your responsibility under the age of 16 especially. That leads to my second point, which is we must also be balanced. Balance is very important. We must be easy with the child as well. Like, some parents, they are over enthusiastic. They want to, like, I know one individual, he really wants his children to become hifth, okay, which is an excellent intention. But his view for his children, or his aspirations, you can't expect a kid to have the same aspiration. And you can't behave towards them in an extreme manner, like force them to, you're not having breakfast until you learn this, or you memorize this, or while your teacher said you didn't know it properly today, I don't know, like whatever punishments you think of giving. That's you have to be balanced, okay? You can't be extreme. You have to be completely balanced. And as I say, you can't expect a kid to have the same aspiration. It's very important to encourage the children, to motivate the child. I think one issue when we were growing up, generally speaking, was that everything was like in the negative. Like, if you don't read Salah, astaghfirullah, you're going to Jahannam. You're such a bad person. Or if you don't do something, like if you don't read the Quran, if you don't memorize, then we're just going to tell you off. Nothing was about encouragement or teaching the child the love for the Quran, like, oh, if you read the Quran, then you'll have these blessings in life. It'll allow you to achieve massive successes in this life and the hereafter. It'll make your day easier, for example. These general basic encouragements. Rather, everything was towards a negative mindset that, oh, you're such a bad person and you're definitely going to Jahannam and you're going to get loads of sins and tawbah, how it is sometimes. It doesn't work like that. You have to encourage the child, and you have to have wisdom behind it as well, not just extreme behavior, like you're going to sit here now and you have to memorize. Like, the child's going to get put off, I'd get put off, definitely. We have to be balanced, and we have to maintain balanced behavior. My third piece of advice, and I would say it's my final piece of advice. So the first piece of advice is look after what the child is doing in terms of social media and tablets and devices. Number 2 is be easy and balanced, no extreme behavior. And number 3 is you have to have an amazing routine. Okay, and that's a work in progress. You'll always be like, you'll start a routine and then you'll sort of adapt as time goes on, as ages change, as family circumstances change, as the wider circumstances change, the routine will change as well. But generally speaking, you have to keep that as a work in progress. If you have a routine all over the place, nobody is going to achieve anything. Okay, that's just accepted in life. That's known. I shouldn't even have to say that. But for the kid, it's extremely important in the sense that, for example, you say, when you wake up before school, you have to read your new sabak 20 times, for example. Okay, and then after school you have a break, you have something to eat, you can relax for a bit, half an hour, and then you start going, and then you go to madrasa at a fixed time, or if you're studying at home, you study at a fixed time. If everything's all over the place, like one day, if you're teaching your child at home, one day you teach them at 5 p.m, the other day you're teaching them at 8 p.m, the next day there's no teaching or learning, and then the fourth day, straight after school, you want to get it done because you need to go watch football, I don't know, whatever. Okay, or you're going out with your mates to the restaurant. So there has to be a routine, fixed time every day. Okay, and that way the kid is becoming more accustomed to the routine, and then it becomes like an easier sort of habit, and it just becomes easier for everyone. Less stress, less pressure, and over time the consistency will definitely pay off, and it'll have a compound effect as well. So things will just get a lot more easier. Keep the routine going. Obviously, occasionally there should be like treats for the child. If they let's just say they finish memorizing the first juz, you should hold a big party. Like we celebrate all these other things, birthdays or whatever, but this is a massive achievement from the kid and from yourself as well. Like you should celebrate for yourself. because as I say, the kid's success in hifth is all down to the parent. Most of it comes down to the parent. And we don't do it for, for the kid to then, when they grow up, start saying, oh, my parents did this for me, and start showing us so much respect. It's not, it's for ourselves, as I told you. It's sadaqatul jariyah for us, so it doesn't really matter whatever happens. As long as we make the effort and our intention is there, and we see some sort of, improvements, then whatever happens in the future, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will see our efforts and He'll write it on our scale of good deeds for eternity. And as the child then continues to read and continues to be connected with the Quran, then teaches others as well, will get the reward, inshallah ta'ala. So I hope that's beneficial for you. I'm talking a bit low. I'm not sure how it's going to sound, but I'm just talking a bit low because I'm just sat here in my room from the blessed city of Madinatul Munawwara on this evening, Friday evening, 30th December 2022. I hope you found that useful. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Share with those that may also benefit as well. And if you have any questions whatsoever, of course, if you watched till this far, then you are dedicated, and I sincerely pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts your efforts and your intentions and makes everything easy for you and allows you and your child to achieve the goals that you want for them. And nas'alullah al-qubula wal-ikhlas. If you have any questions at all whatsoever, or any comments, any thoughts, leave it in the comments down below and we shall speak soon. And if you leave a comment or if you leave a question, then other parents will definitely be having the same question as well, with the same thoughts. So if I then make a separate video to answer that, or answer in the comments myself, just typing the answer, then loads of other parents and loads of other families and children will benefit as well. So nas'alullah al-qubula wal-ikhlas. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.